The silent galaxy where the galaxy had known peace for a very long time. For thousands of cycles, no major war had shaken the stars. The great empires traded, argued, and expanded slowly. Everyone believed the age of fear was finally over. That belief died in a single moment. It began with silence. Deep space sensors across the galaxy started to fail one by one. Long-range scanners showed shadows where nothing should exist. At first, the technicians thought it was a system error, but the errors kept spreading. Soon, every major star nation received the same warning. An unknown fleet was entering the galaxy. The Galactic Council was called into emergency session. The most powerful species gathered in fear. Massive holograms filled the chamber, showing a dark shape moving through the void. The shape was not one ship. It was thousands. No, millions. The fleet was so large that the scanners could not count it properly. Ships moved in perfect formation, cold, silent, and precise. No signals were detected. No energy weapons were charged. No engines burned bright. It was as if the fleet did not want to be seen. Council members whispered among themselves. Some believed it was an ancient machine race returning from legend. Others feared it was a destroyer species from outside the known universe. A few simply sat in silence, unable to speak. One admiral from the northern sectors finally broke the quiet. He said the fleet was heading toward the core worlds, the heart of galactic civilization. Panic spread instantly. Defense fleets were ordered to prepare. Planetary shields were raised. Civilian evacuation plans were activated. Yet deep inside, everyone knew the truth. No force in the galaxy could stop a fleet of that size. Historians searched old records for answers. Ancient texts spoke of great threats, but none matched what was approaching. Then a strange detail was noticed. The fleet's movement was slow, too slow for an invasion, too careful for a conqueror. It was not rushing, it was watching. A senior analyst pointed out something disturbing. The fleet was avoiding populated systems. It passed by worlds without attacking, without even scanning them. This behavior confused the council even more. If this was an enemy, why did it act like a guardian? As the fleet moved closer, the fear grew heavier. Some council members remembered an old, forgotten species, a young race from a small blue planet. A race once known for conflict and chaos. Humans. They were considered weak, divided, and unpredictable. Long ago, humans had entered the galactic stage quietly. They traded, learned, and watched, then slowly disappeared into their own space. No one paid much attention to them after that, until now. The fleet's design began to resolve on closer scans. Its structure looked familiar, too familiar. Angular hulls, layered armor, efficient and brutal shapes. An engineer whispered a name no one wanted to hear. Earth-style construction. The room fell silent. That was impossible. No one believed humans could build such a force, not in such a short time, not without anyone noticing. As the fleet reached the edge of the core worlds, it finally stopped. Millions of ships came to a perfect halt. Like soldiers waiting for an order, no message was sent, no threat was made. The galaxy held its breath, knowing that whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same again. Fear of the EWKNOWN. The silence did not break. The massive fleet remained still at the edge of the core worlds. For hours, then days, nothing happened. That silence was worse than an attack across the galaxy. Fear grew like a living thing. News spread fast. Every screen showed the same dark shapes in space. Every voice asked the same question. What are they waiting for? The Galactic Council stayed in emergency session. No one slept. No one relaxed. Every decision felt like it could end the galaxy. Military leaders argued constantly. Some demanded a first strike. They believed waiting was suicide. Others warned that attacking such a fleet would be meaningless. One mistake, and everything could burn. Defense fleets moved into position. Thousands of warships formed fragile lines around key systems. They looked small, weak, like insects facing a storm. Admirals knew the truth. Even the combined power of all galactic empires was not enough. The unknown fleet could erase them in minutes. Civilian worlds fell into chaos. People fled cities, others prayed. Some simply watched the sky, waiting for the end. Scientists worked without rest, trying to understand the technology of the silent fleet. Energy readings were strange. Shield systems operated at levels never seen before. One scientist made a terrifying discovery. The fleet was not at full power, it was holding back. This meant one thing. If it wanted war, the galaxy would not survive. Old archives were opened again. Records of extinct civilizations were studied. Patterns were compared, but no match was found, except one. A junior historian hesitated before speaking. He mentioned a species that once shared similar ship designs, a species that preferred strong armor over elegant shapes. Humans, the council reacted with disbelief. Some laughed in fear, others grew angry. Humans were traders, explorers, survivors. They were never conquerors. A military analyst objected. He reminded the council of human history. Endless wars, rapid learning, dangerous adaptability. Humans did not look powerful at first, but when threatened, they changed fast. Still, most refused to believe it. Earth had no known shipyards of that scale, no energy output to support such a fleet, no reason to hide such power. As debates continued, a new report arrived. The silent fleet had begun to move again, but not forward. It repositioned slowly, carefully, forming a massive defensive arc. The formation faced outward, toward the dark space beyond the galaxy. Confusion spread through the council chamber. Why would an invading force defend the galaxy? Long-range sensors picked up something worse. A distortion far beyond the fleet's position. A shadow moving in the void. Something ancient, something massive. For the first time, the council understood. The silent fleet was not watching the galaxy. It was watching the dark beyond it. Fear changed shape. This was not fear of invasion anymore. This was fear of what was coming. The council waited, weapons ready, hearts racing. Then, at last, the silence broke. A single signal began to form, clear, controlled, and calm. It came from the heart of the silent fleet, and it was directed at every world in the galaxy. The message from EARTH, the signal spread across the galaxy in seconds. Every screen lit up at the same time. Every translation system activated instantly. The voice was calm, clear, and unmistakably human. There was no threat in the tone. No anger, no pride, only control. The speaker did not shout, did not demand, did not warn. He simply spoke. We are representatives of Earth. We know you are afraid. But fear is not why we are here. Across the council chamber, no one moved. The most powerful leaders of the galaxy listened in silence. The human continued. For a long time, we stayed quiet. We watched. We learned. We prepared. The words were simple, but heavy. Many council members felt something they had not felt before. Shame. The human voice explained that beyond the edge of the galaxy, something ancient had awakened, a force that consumed stars, and erased civilizations without mercy. The humans had encountered it first. They had lost colonies, ships, and billions of lives, but they did not run. Instead, Earth united, old enemies became allies, nations disappeared, and humanity became one. They built fleets, not for conquest, but for survival. The human speaker paused, allowing the galaxy to understand. We fought in the dark, so you would not have to. Shock spread across the council. The massive fleet now made sense. The defensive formation, the silence, the restraint. Humans had not come to threaten the galaxy. They had come to shield it. The message continued. We pushed the enemy back, but it is not gone. It is watching, and it will return. Images appeared on the screens. Broken human ships, dark shapes tearing through space, stars going dark one by one. Many leaders turned away, unable to watch. The human voice remained steady. Our fleet stands here, not as rulers, not as masters, but as guardians. No demands were made, no payment was asked, only a warning. Prepare, unite, because next time, we may not arrive first. Silence returned, heavier than before. Then something unexpected happened. The human speaker changed tone, not to pride, but to humility. We are not perfect. We are afraid to bot. We refuse to let the galaxy burn. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council felt small. They had underestimated humanity, ignored them, dismissed them as weak. Now those same humans stood between the galaxy and extinction. A council elder finally spoke, his voice trembling. Why did you never warn us? The human replied without delay. Because fear would have divided you, and division would have killed you. That answer struck deeper than any weapon. The transmission began to fade, but the final words remained. We will hold the line, as long as we can. The signal ended. The fleet remained in position, silent once more. But the silence was different now. It was no longer the silence of mystery. It was the silence of duty. The galaxy understood the truth at last. Humans were not late arrivals to galactic power. They were its last shield. Why humans never warned the galaxy. After the message ended, the galaxy remained quiet, but inside the council chamber, thoughts burned like stars. The leaders replayed the human words again and again. One question refused to fade. Why did humans choose silence? To understand that choice, one had to look back at Earth. Long before humanity reached the stars, humans lived in a world shaped by conflict. Nations fought nations, ideas fought ideas. Power was always feared, and fear always created war. Even when humans left their planet, they carried that history with them. They remembered what fear could do to a divided people. When humanity first met alien life, they were not strong. They were not united. They were cautious. Earth learned quickly. Some species respected strength. Others feared it. Many attacked it. Humans survived by adapting, by watching, by learning in silence. When the ancient dark threat appeared at the edge of human space, Earth tried to warn others. Small signals were sent. Quiet reports were shared. No one listened. Humans were still seen as young, emotional, unstable. So Earth made a hard choice. They would not beg for belief. They would prepare instead. All human space changed. Factories became shipyards. Research centers became weapons labs. Civilians became builders, soldiers, guardians. Old borders disappeared. Old flags were lowered. Humanity stood as one for the first time. They did not announce this transformation. They hid it, not out of pride, but out of fear. Humans feared that if the galaxy knew, fear would spread faster than unity. Empires would turn on Earth, trying to control or destroy what they did not understand. Silence became Earth's shield. Years passed, then decades. Humans fought the darkness alone. Battles were won at terrible cost. Entire fleets were lost. Entire worlds burned. Still, Earth did not call for help, because humans believed something simple. True protection does not ask for praise. The Council now understood. Humans did not want to rule the galaxy. They wanted it to survive. A human commander's recorded words were shared privately with the Council. His voice was tired, but firm. If we fail, at least the galaxy will have time. Those words carried more weight than any speech. The Council saw the truth. Humans had accepted a role they never asked for. Guardians without crowns. Defenders without applause. The silent fleet at the core worlds was not a threat. It was a promise born from loss, from unity, from restraint. Fear slowly changed into respect. For the first time, the galaxy did not see humans as weak or dangerous. They saw them as responsible. As the council session ended, one truth remained clear to every species present. Humans did not warn the galaxy because they believed strength should speak last. And now, that strength stood ready in silence. The day the galaxy BOWID, the galaxy did not celebrate after the truth was revealed. There were no cheers, no songs, only understanding. The Galactic Council gathered one final time, not in fear, but in respect. For the first time in history, every major species agreed without argument. Earth had changed everything. A formal declaration was prepared, translated into thousands of languages, and sent to the Silent Fleet. The message was simple. Earth was granted guardian status, protector of the core worlds, defender of the galactic rim. When the human fleet received the declaration, there was no public response, no announcement, no display of power, only action. Human ships adjusted their formation. The defensive arc strengthened. Shield networks expanded quietly. They accepted the duty. Without pride, across the galaxy, worlds began to prepare. Defense systems were upgraded. Fleets trained together for the first time. Former enemies shared technology. Humans had not asked for unity, but their example forced it. In distant space, beyond the human fleet, the darkness stirred. The ancient threat watched, tested the barrier, and hesitated. For the first time, it had met resistance. Within the council chamber, an elder spoke softly. His voice carried truth. We spent centuries building walls. Humans built a shield. Those words were recorded and spread across the stars. The human fleet began a slow withdrawal, not leaving the galaxy, only repositioning. They would guard the outer edge, where danger was born. As human ships moved, alien fleets followed. Learning, standing together, trust replaced fear. On Earth, there were no parades, no monuments raised. Families watched the stars quietly. They knew the cost. They remembered the losses. Human leaders addressed their people with few words. We stand so others may live. Nothing more was needed. Years later, historians would write about this day, not as the day humans arrived, but as the day the galaxy changed. They would say that power did not demand obedience, it earned trust. They would say the galaxy did not bow to human weapons, it bowed to human restraint. And when future generations looked to the stars, they would remember one simple truth: when the darkness came, humanity did not run, humanity stood, and the galaxy survived because of it.